What voter out there can look at the Democratic Party at this moment in time and say, there's a voice for us, somebody that speaks for us, that goes up on Capitol Hill and fights the fights that we want them fighting on our behalf? They didn't do that.
Opinions vary.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Opinions Vary. That's Opinions with an A. Please like, share, and subscribe. And Stephen A. Smith for president. Is it possible? Will he run? I have a lot of stuff with Stephen A. Smith on his channel. I find him entertaining, to be honest with you. And sometimes he makes sense, but he does have TDS, so it does cloud his judgment more than a little bit. But this time he's going on Sean Hannity, and they have a pretty good banter back and forth. They're obviously good friends. And I've said that I think Stephen A. Smith will run for political office. Will it be president? I don't know. But I do think he will run for political office, even though he says he won't. He doesn't want to give up his salary at ESPN. But I think that right now, if he was ever going to do it, it's the time, because the Democrat Party is desperate. The people who want the vote for Democrats are desperate for somebody that they can vote for, because right now there isn't anybody. There isn't anybody that's sane. There isn't anybody that's even close to the center. They're so far off in this progressive, trans, ideological nightmare wilderness that I don't know that the people that are in the party now ever make it back. So the time is now. They are ripe to be taken by somebody who just makes sense. Get back to, like I talked about yesterday in the video I did about Bill Clinton from the early 90s. If they get back to somebody with that type of voice, that person will be the new leader of the Democrat Party. And if a guy like Stephen A. Smith actually did dip his feet, dip his toes into politics, he could be that guy. Let's hear what he says on Sean Hannity.
So the Democrats went radical left. They picked new party leaders. They're struggling to find out who to rally behind in 2028. A recent poll of potential presidential nominees shows former Vice President Kamala Harris in the lead at 33%, followed by former Transportation Secretary Pothole Pete Buttigieg at 9%, Gavin Newsom at 7%, and the recent vice presidential nominee Tim Walz sits at 3%. 1 point behind him is our friend Stephen A. Smith, who is currently the star of...
Okay, so you saw that. That's what I'm saying. That's how bad the bench is for the Democrats right now. Stephen A. Smith actually makes the chart at 2%, even though he's never even really said, I'm going to run for office. Those are people that are just throwing him out there because they like what he says. He's never been somebody who says, I'm going to run for office. I want to be a politician. No, he talks politics. And you have 2% of people saying on the Democrat side that, yeah, I would vote for him. And he has never even publicly came out and said he would run. So you had Kamala Harris at 33%. That's just because she's the best known name. That's what people just say, oh, Kamala Harris, because I know who she is, and she was vice president, she ran for president. She has no chance. She will never be the president of the United States. She will never be the Democrat nominee ever again for president. Not with a real process anyway, because she was installed. She won't make it through Iowa again. She'll be out. Then you had Pete Buttigieg, never. Gavin Newsom, too much baggage with California, showing how he's run that state into the ground. Won't happen. And Tim Walz, really? Not a chance. So that's what I'm saying. It's not completely crazy to have someone like Stephen A. Smith, who is articulate, is engaging, he's got charisma. He will make you listen to him. Even if you don't like what he's saying, you listen to him. That's why he's been so successful on TV when he talks about sports. But he translates that to politics pretty well. That's my opinion. So, as I said, this would be the time. If he's going to do it, now's the time.
First Take on ESPN, and he said he might consider a run. Really, Stephen? Look.
The Democratic Party looks so pathetic after this election. I might entertain running. I just might change my mind one day. I doubt it, but I might. Because how much would it take to be...
He also makes me laugh. I'll go back to you.
But I might. Because how much would it take to beat y'all? And Trump can't run again.
Now, Stephen A.
That's my point. He would at least, I think he'd make some noise if he got involved. I really do.
Also has come out strong against Trump's recent actions to dismantle the DEI wokeness that took over our government under Biden and, of course, before him, Barack Obama. And he is preparing for a presidential run. Let's ask him. Stephen A., how are you? Okay, what
What's
you
going
said
on,
is,
Big Time? How are you?
Is he trolling? He might be, but I tell you, there's if somebody tells you that, hey, I think if you're a known person like Stephen A. Smith, you're known, and somebody comes up to you and says, you know what, I think that if you ran, you could win. That to be the president of the United States. That's got to get in your head a little bit. And we know everybody like Stephen A. Smith, Sean Hannity, Donald Trump, they all have egos. And if somebody feeds your ego, especially somebody with money that says, I'll back your run and I'll contribute to your run, it's got to be tempting to say, you know what? You only live once. Let me take my shot at becoming president of the United States.
I might entertain running for president. You can't afford the pay cut by your own admission. And if you run, your party would never nominate you because you're far too reasonable, although I have a couple of bones to pick with you tonight.
Well, first of all, number one, you're absolutely right. My lifestyle is quite lovely, and I would not want to ruin that by running for the presidency of the United States of America. I have no interest, but
I don't believe him. I don't believe him that he has no interest. I just don't. I've said it on my other. I'm going to put my Stephen A. Smith playlist up top because, as I said, I have him a lot on this channel because I find him entertaining. I find him funny. I don't watch ESPN. I'm not interested. But when I see him on these shows and I get the clips on YouTube of him talking about politics, I do find him funny and entertaining.
But I was just trying to make a profound point, and that is that I think the Democratic Party in the state that they find themselves in, I think somebody like me could actually win. I certainly think that I could beat any of those candidates that you put on the screen.
I agree with him.
Tell you that right now. I certainly think if I was running up against somebody like you, I would win that race too. So when you think about the candidates that you possibly go up against,
you run, I'll run.
Listen. You have no chance in hell of beating me because you're too rigid. You don't have any patience for people that disagree with you. You'd lose your mind.
You're going to lecture people on patience?
I'm the man of the people. Whatever the American people wanted.
I'm the one that wants lower taxes, limited government. I'm the one that wants energy dominance, controlled borders, law and order, better schools.
You want it all.
I'm sorry, you're going to lose that debate. Now, but put that aside.
I would love to see that debate.
I'm going to lose it. I'm mad at you. But go ahead.
Like serious,
you actually
debate.
said about DEI, what you're really saying when you talk about DEI, what you're really saying is we want white dominance again. Let me put up on the screen, and this was first instituted, as it relates to the FAA under Barack Obama. Their diversity push includes focus on hiring people with severe intellectual and psychiatric disabilities.
That's actually true. Let me move myself out of the way a little bit here. And hold on. Let me move myself so I can see what date that's from. That's from January 14, 2024. So that's actually something true at the FAA where, those are the people who control the airplanes in the air and tell them where to go. And we just had that horrible tragedy over the Potomac. Think about that. That's insanity.
Now, Stephen A., you fly a lot. Do you want people with intellectual and psychiatric disabilities in that control tower?
Not at all. Not at all. And by the way,
see, that's why he might have a chance, because right there he said, no, I don't want that. If you had any other Democrat or a politician, well, they would try to do the grammatical gymnastics to try and fit it in somehow. It's not really what we're saying. No, it is what you're saying. It's in plain English right in front of our face. And they would try to find out some way that maybe somebody who's psychologically impaired could be an air traffic controller. But there's the difference. He goes, no, I don't want that.
Me accurately. I don't know how many times I have to tell you this. Quote me accurately. My issue with the eradication of DEI was not that on its premise. It was the explanation that the Trump administration and others were giving about it. I don't want to hear DEI automatically being about people who happen to be minorities that are unqualified. That is what I was.
Here's the thing. Nobody on Trump's side of the ledger made it that. The other side of the ledger made it about that. The problem with DEI and why it's so toxic is that it encourages people to think, oh, how did this person get this job? Must be DEI. Even if they are overqualified, that person now has to face the scrutiny of what the DEI placed on them. Unfairly. I don't care if your hair is rainbow. If you know how to be an air traffic controller, have at it. If you're the most super competent air traffic control there is, I don't care what color your hair is. I don't care what color your skin is. I don't care what your political bent is. I just want you to make sure that two planes don't crash into each other or a plane and a helicopter don't collide. But DEI putting out a statement like that says, this is what we're looking for, and then somebody comes in with rainbow-colored hair, the first assumption is going to be they got it because of that wacky memo that they put out about DEI. That's the problem. It's just got to get back to this. You come in for the interview. Now, you sit down with rainbow-colored hair, I might be like, oh, man, wait, hold on. We'll see what this is all about. But then if I interview you and you pass the interview with flying colors, I say, I got to be honest, I don't care about your rainbow-colored hair. Go have a seat at the in front of the radar scanner there and get to work. There you go. That's what it's got to get back to.
Saying. I said it's one thing to get rid of it altogether. It's another thing entirely to articulate and verbalize the position that, excuse me, you know what, everybody that was associated with DEI are unqualified individuals. We don't want unqualified individuals, particularly in public safety. I'm saying that's how people are coming across. That's how people, of course we agree on it. Of course we agree on it. But when you have somebody like 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐽, well, for example, let's use him because he was speaking about your
He's going to get himself into a little bit of trouble here.
Former colleague at Fox News. Hold on. That's not a defense secretary. Excuse me. Listen, listen, I'm not bringing up anything personal. I'm simply saying, my God, Sean, when you're talking about people who are unqualified, I wish him nothing but the best. He served our country, you know, in the military. I get all of that. But when you are a weekend host on Fox News, and now you're the defense secretary of the United States overseeing 3.5 million people.
Now, see, he jumps right to the fact that he was a host on Fox News and ignores everything else he's ever done. And Sean Hannity is going to absolutely destroy him on this right here.
Let me ask you, did you serve in Iraq, Afghanistan, and 𝐬𝐿?
No,
did you go to Harvard? Did you go to Harvard? Did you go to Princeton? Yeah, no, well, he's certainly a pretty intelligent guy, so I would say...
I didn't say he wasn't intelligent. I didn't say he wasn't intelligent.
Then what are you saying, Stephen A?
Opportunity. All right, I got
another... Okay, that's fair. One thing I'm not qualified for. But say that.
See, at least he's... That's another thing. He just got owned, and at least he could say, all right, say it differently, and maybe I'll accept your premise. He's not just out of hand, just dismissing it because he doesn't agree politically with Sean Hannity.
I just said it.
Yeah,
all right, I just
said it.
I'll say it. I'm not qualified for this, and we're going to show it at the end of the show. But I'm going to be in a Super Bowl ad, and you're at the Super Bowl.
Oh, God. You in a Super Bowl ad? What the hell is this world coming to? What kind of Super Bowl ad are you going to be in? You with your non-sports knowing self. Talk about staying in your lane. That's you. You in a Super Bowl commercial? Who did this? Did Trump pull strings to make this happen? I mean, what the hell is going on, Fox? Well, Brett Baer, that's a different animal. I mean, Brett Baer's a different animal. He's a different animal. Go ahead.
You know what? You're jealous.
Jealous of what? What do I have to be
I'm in the Super Bowl ad and you're not. You're jealous.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
Again, Sean Hannity's getting him. He got him again.
For it. I mean, my time will come. My time will come. Don't worry. I'll be around a long enough time. My time will come. I'll be in the Super Bowl commercial. You can book that. That's going to happen. That's going to happen. Right, I mean, I'm not as big time as you, but it is what it is.
Oh, here we go. Who's going to win the Super Bowl?
I'm not telling you that. I got 2 shows to do. I got 2 shows to do before Friday. I'm not giving you that information. I'm not giving the information to Fox News. It's a great matchup. You got Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. You got Patrick Mahomes and
ESPN. What does that mean?
Excuse me. I didn't say I didn't know the answer. I didn't say you wasn't going to get the answer. I just said you ain't going to get it tonight on Fox News. I got a couple of shows to do for the remainder of the week. I'll give you my prediction later on in the week. All I'm saying to you right now is look forward to a very thrilling Super Bowl. It's going to be on Fox. Tom Brady's going to be calling the game. I think he's been doing an exceptional job. I think we're going to have a great game, and we will see what transpires. But I'm not giving you my prediction yet. I'm going to wait till Friday.
I think Brady, by the way, has really developed into a great broadcaster. I think he's come a long way.
So do I.
He's done a good job.
He has.
All right.
See, you do know something about sports.
All right, so that's it. And that's entertaining. I thought that was a good conversation. I'm not a huge Sean Hannity fan, believe it or not. I'm just not. I think he is about himself too many times. But when he has him on, it's entertaining. Obviously, they're friends. And as you saw, I just think... I don't believe Stephen A. Smith when he says he's not interested. I just don't believe it. He's got too big of an ego. And if somebody feeds that ego and tells him, I think you have a chance to win, to be the president of the United States, how does he turn that chance down? Especially if somebody's going to fund him. How do you turn that chance down? to throw your hat in the ring. He's obviously passionate about politics. He talks about it all the time. So he talks about staying in your lane. He's gone from sports to talking a lot of politics, and he's involved heavily now. He has an opinion about everything. That's fine. He's allowed to say whatever he wants. And as I said, I personally find him to be engaging. I disagree with him probably 90% of the time, but I still find him engaging and tolerable. He's tolerable for me, and as far to the right or conservative as I am, to listen to. I'll at least listen to what he has to say. Because like I said, even there was a couple of instances where, Sean Hannity buried him on Pete Hegseth, and he kind of just backed off it and said, well, just say it that way. He says, I did say it. And then he backed off. And the other thing with the DEI, with the air traffic controller, with that whole nonsense they had about mentally ill people or something being an air traffic controller, he's not gonna die on that hill. And we see Democrats dying on these hills because they just the TDS is so severe that they just can't bring themselves to just say, wait a minute, do I really want to fight this battle? There's going to be plenty of battles for me to fight. Do I want to fight the battle with Elon Musk gutting USAID with all the nonsense that we're wasting taxpayer dollars on? Do I really want to go there? They can't help themselves. I think he can. And I'm not saying that he'll stick to it, but I think at least in public when he's talking, he stays away from that stuff and he tries to come to some kind of common sense on it, at least. So, I don't know. Do I think he's going to throw his hat in the ring? I'm 50-50, but I wouldn't. I'd actually be more surprised if he didn't than if he did. And I've been saying it for a few videos, and like I said, I put the playlist up top before. Go through the playlist of the videos I did with him, and I think you'll come to the same conclusion. I'll leave it there. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you next time right here at Opinions Vary.
Opinions vary.